Very good evening and welcome to the United Stand. I'm sorry I'm late. I just went live on Twitch. I'm an idiot. But it's Friday night and look, got a big update for you on Pochettino. We're going to be talking about that. Bit of a boost around Ten Hag with it as well. As I said at lunchtime, I was going to make a couple of calls this afternoon. Had a very interesting chat with a certain somebody about this Pochettino Manchester United snub and what it means. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about the potential of Kante coming back, which I think is a load of bollocks, but it's been mentioned as well. Also, Sancho saying we're strong enough to win the Champions League, and a little bit about Cavani and a few things. But the big story we're going to be talking about is Pochettino to Manchester United and why he's potentially going to snub United. Plus, it's Friday night Q&A, so we'll be getting some of your questions as well. But before we get into that, you might see a word below me that sounds a little bit like something else. It's a brand new sponsor for tonight's show, and it's called Spitch. Now, look, I'm going to tell you what Spitch is all about because it's very, very exciting. It's a free game that you can get involved in. So what is Spitch? Spitch is a fancy football manager app that lets you build your own team to win points and take on other managers on the game. I'm playing it this weekend. I'm really excited about it. You can play for free, compete against your friends or against people online for the chance to win a share of up to £70,000 on a weekly basis. Spitch is available on iOS, Android, and is free to download in the UK. The link's in the description. Make sure you give it a download. And what is Spitch? It's based around weekly competitions, basically, so you don't have to worry about the season being already started. We're in February. This week I'm playing on the Premier League. My knowledge of the Premier League is, of course, at super high levels because I seem to watch around 50,000 hours of Premier League football a year. However, if it's not your job to watch hours and hours in football, then Spitch has you covered because it's got detailed in-app analytics that helps you pick your team to be successful. If you want to download Spitch and get yourself in with a shot of winning some awesome prizes by flexing your football knowledge, then hit the link in the description and get playing today. And to give you a helping hand, we have posted the United Stand Spitch team on our Twitter and Insta, so head over there for some Spitch inspiration. And if you want to join the United Stand community on Spitch, then I've included another link for that in the description as well. Remember, you've got to be over 18 to play and Spitch to play Spitch. Terms and conditions apply. This is a brand new partnership for the United Stand. I'm very, very excited about it because it is free to play. You can win big prizes and you can play it on a weekly basis. And they also do other leagues. It's not just the Premier League. So if you're into Bundesliga, Serie A, or La Liga, you can give it a go. And if you click the link in the description and you have a go at it, you'll see a very, very good manager that is attached to the Spitch app. So this is not a game that's messing around. You know, it's got some credibility behind it. All I'd say is click the link in the description. Unfortunately, it's not a Man United manager, but it is one of the best managers in the world, and he's put his name to it. So give it a try. Download, link in the video description. Give it a play. You can pick it up this weekend and have a go for free. You've got to be over 18, but give it a go. Free to play. I'm very excited about it. It's my first weekend playing, so link in the description. Give it a go. It's well worth a look. Anyway. Let's go from one manager who is very good to a manager that might be coming to Manchester United who is potentially very good. So, Pochettino, a story this morning. Wow, I feel like doing a header. Pochettino this morning. I'm going to do more of them. Quite like that. Pochettino this morning. There was a story that came out from Sport. Now, Sport is a Barcelona-based news outlet saying that Pochettino wanted to snub any offer from Manchester United because he wants the job at Real Madrid. Marca this afternoon have come out and said that the same thing. Pochettino wants to come to Real Madrid and Real Madrid want Pochettino. So I was like, well, look, we can go with Sport and Marca, which are very biased outlets in relation to Spanish teams, quite rightly, because they're Spanish. Or I'm going to put a phone call into somebody who I know, who's very good on the European scene, and I'm going to ask him a question about it. So I did. And we spoke about Pochettino, and the conversation went like this. Now, I've got to be careful because they might end up putting something out about it themselves over the weekend, although they didn't seem that interested in doing it. But the reality is, the information I had and the conversation we developed was that Pochettino, Manchester United want Pochettino. That's their number one target. That's what everybody expects them to do. Manchester United believe they can get Pochettino because they believe PSG will move Pochettino on if he doesn't win the Champions League. And they don't expect PSG to win the Champions League. So Pochettino to Manchester United in the summer is what Manchester United are expecting. They're not expecting to have to pay £15-20 million in compensation to PSG because they believe that PSG will go for Zidane and Pochettino will be effectively sacked. So they'll get him for free, which is a nice thing for Manchester United. So Manchester United expect that to happen, and they know that Pochettino is very interested in Manchester United. He really likes the Premier League, and that's what he wants to do. So that is what is expected to happen in the summer. PSG don't win the Champions League. PSG remove Pochettino. They go for Zidane or maybe somebody else, and Pochettino becomes available for Manchester United to get as their manager for free. Happy days for Manchester United board. Maybe not for you. And that's the scenario that everybody's expecting to happen. But then Real Madrid come into the equation, and these stories we're getting. Now, what I was told is that Pochettino is not sat there going, I don't want to go to Manchester United, I want to go to Real Madrid. Pochettino is focused on PSG and very aware of the interest of Manchester United and doesn't want to miss out. Now, let me take you back a few months ago to just after Oli had gone. PSG were going to play Man City in a Champions League game. The day before it, Pochettino wants to come to United. Pochettino's representatives were leaking to the press that Pochettino wants to come to Manchester United. Manchester United couldn't get him, so they ended up going with an interim, with the idea of coming back in the summer on the previous story I was just talking about. So, Pochettino wants United. United want Pochettino, and the scenario is expected to play out that will happen in the summer. So why is Ten Hag suddenly incoming, or favourite? Real Madrid. Real Madrid are very interested in the Pochettino scenario based on a big if. Real Madrid have always liked Pochettino, and this is all based on a conversation, but some of it is supposition and some of it is just, you can work it out for yourself anyway. But this is where the conversation this afternoon came into play. So, Pochettino would love to go Man United. Pochettino would love to go to Real Madrid. But Real Madrid haven't really shown any interest in him, whereas Manchester United constantly have. Why are Real Madrid now being linked to Pochettino? Because Real Madrid are desperate to get back on the top of world football. They like Ancelotti. It was a bit of a surprise when Ancelotti went back, but they like Ancelotti. But they're also eyes open to the fact that Ancelotti is not a glamorous manager that's going to reinvent Real Madrid. He's more a steadier of the ship. He's more a stability. Winners the league, stability, build. Real Madrid next season are looking at Haaland, they're looking at Mbappe, they're potentially looking at Pogba. Is Ancelotti the man for that? They believe that they may need to move Ancelotti on, and the reason they would do that is if Pochettino knocks Real Madrid out of the Champions League before the quarterfinals. This is a big no-no for Real Madrid. They don't like this. And the fact that PSG are playing Real Madrid and Pochettino is the manager, they're 1-0 up from the first leg. If they fly over under Pochettino and knock Real Madrid out, the expectation is that Real Madrid will then start making a big move for Pochettino. So it's all a bit if, buts and maybes. But if PSG knock out Real Madrid are already very much looking at that scenario that Pochettino will do that and they would like him to come to Real Madrid. And that's what it's out. And also, the further thing I would add to that, if you're not too hot on that, is that Real Madrid would love to take PSG's manager because they really want to get Mbappe and they feel that there's a good relationship between Pochettino and Kylian Mbappe. And also, Real Madrid and PSG cannot stand each other, so that is an added advantage as well. So I think we've got to watch how this is going to play out because it's going to impact on United big time. And there'll be loads of you saying, I don't really care, Mark. I've got no interest. I don't want Pochettino. I hope he does go to Real Madrid. I really hope he does. There is a chance that that could happen. But as things stand at the moment, Pochettino would like to come to Manchester United. Manchester United would like Pochettino. But Real Madrid, if they made their move, that is when you'd be a complete fool if you think Pochettino is definitely going to choose United over Real Madrid. But at the moment, Real Madrid are very much in the flirting stage of, oh, we quite like Pochettino, but we're not so sure. If PSG knock Real Madrid out in a couple of weeks, watch what happens, was what I was told. Mark, what are we going to do? We're honestly in turmoil. I can see a manager, player, coach that can't rectify the club. It's very sad, says user. We'll come back to that in a little bit because I think you're right about that. I don't think there is a manager, regardless of what we talk about, that can resolve this situation. But of course, if Pochettino did end up going to Real Madrid, then obviously that makes Ten Hag the favourite, because the two favourites for this job are Pochettino and Ten Hag, and that's where we're at. But I think that the most important thing to remember is that the stories that were coming out this morning that Pochettino was going to snub Manchester United for Real Madrid are ridiculously premature, and what those stories are really about is that Real Madrid are starting to do what Real Madrid do, which is just starting to muddy the waters a little bit, starting to make it aware that they would like him. They've done it with De Gea in the past with us, they've done it with Pogba with us in the past, and they're doing it with Pochettino now. They're just starting to say, hey, we're Real Madrid and we're sort of interested in you. What do you think about it? And at the moment, I think Pochettino is very much thinking, Man United's where I'm going to end up in the summer. But Real Madrid are just sort of like saying, we're here, hello. So let's see how it plays out. Mark, what does it take for United to challenge for the league next season? Players and manager, says Humish. Mate, I mean, look, it's Friday night, let's chat. But there is no scenario that United win the title next year. Absolutely none. None. You know, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're not going to win the league next year. There's absolutely zero chance of it happening. I mean, I saw Jadon Sancho in an interview today, and I really enjoyed the interview, talking about Ronaldo and how he likes to play football. And he said that we've got the squad to win the Champions League. It's just about playing together. I don't think we have. I don't think we have. I mean, I understand why he said it, but I also think that these sort of statements from United players don't do us any favours, because, you know, you get, I think it was Fred or somebody said at the start of the week, we can win the Champions League. We go to Atletico Madrid and we don't look like we could win the Conference League. So we don't need that level of pressure. You know, you end up, what's the percentage chance that we're going to win the Champions League? I'd say it's less than 10%. So there's a 90% chance you're going to look like a prat when you say we've got a chance of winning the Champions League. Of course, it's exciting to be in it, but my mentality would be, United, you know what United need to do? They need to adopt this siege mentality. If I was the manager, I'd take Jadon Sancho into a dressing room with everyone else and I'd say, really good interview, Jadon. Loved what you said about Ronaldo, loved what you said about expressing yourself. But do you think it was a good idea to say that we've got the squad to win the Champions League? What benefit does that do, other than people get to laugh at us if it doesn't happen? Far better to just say, we're in this tournament, and, you know, we're just here to see what we can do. We're a team that's building. You know, there's a lot of new players in it. We're building things. We're in this tournament. Let's see what we can do. Let's not stop playing our cards. Let's not stop showing our hands. Football should be a game of poker, and that's the way we should play it. Keep our cards close to our chest. This talk about we can do this, we can do that, it tends to pop the balloon. I mean, look, as I said this morning, in August there was talk of us being in a title race in August, in April. We were out of a title race in October. Do you think at some point Rooney will be our manager? Also, is there an underrated manager you would like? Says Keelan. I don't want Wayne Rooney as Manchester United manager. I know that's probably controversial, but I don't. I've got absolutely... And look, everybody should respect everybody's opinions, but I don't want an ex-United player anywhere near the United job for a very long time. I'm not over Ollie. Ollie still makes me very angry. And not Ollie himself, but the club. I think when you go for an ex-player, and I think Chelsea fans probably feel the same about Lampard, when you get an ex-player in, it's the dream. This lad was a legend of our club. He's now the manager of our club. What better success story could there be? Imagine what it would have been like. Imagine what it would be like if Rooney took the United job and we won the league. Imagine what that would feel like. He lifted it as a player and now he's lifting it as a manager. Oh my God. It's fantasy. It's pure fantasy. I would love it. But United screwed it up because they gave it to Solskjaer. And we believed that was what that was going to happen. And it failed miserably. And you know what? Once bitten, twice shy. I'm not willing to get back in that swimming pool again with Rooney, because I just think we'll end up getting bitten again. And I don't want that at the moment. Maybe in a few years' time, you know, as Michael Talbot said, maybe in a few years, but not at the moment. There's no ex-player that makes me think, yeah, let's go down that road. And it's not, because ultimately Michael's right. It's not fair on Rooney. Like, Rooney is not Ollie. And Rooney could be a really good coach. So you can't close your eyes to it. But for me, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, but not at the moment. I do not want to get back into that. It's not the right time. And as Xander says, he loves Rooney, but it's not at the moment. And that's purely because of the way the club handled the Solskjaer thing for me. But look, you know what I also want to say as well? I think it's a great point. I was reading this earlier on. I'm in a group chat. Shout out, they'll know which group chat I'm in. And I'd said I had a bit of a Pochettino update, which I've just given you. And somebody in the group chat had said, you know what? I watch Eredivisie a lot. And I don't think Ten Hag's all that. And, you know, I would pick Ten Hag over Pochettino. But I do just want to say, he ain't Harry Potter and he ain't Mary Poppins. You know, he's not coming in with the answer. He's not got a spoonful of sugar and he ain't got a wand. He's not going to come in and necessarily turn this club around because he ain't Moses. He's not a miracle. He's not a miracle worker. And I think to turn this club around, you need a miracle worker. Sir Alex Ferguson in his absolute prime would struggle to get this team to win a title. That's how deep the problem is. And I wish every United fan in the world had that in their head, that this is almost Tom Cruise time. It's Mission Impossible. I think it is. So I don't believe that Ten Hag necessarily is the answer. I just would prefer him over Pochettino. But there is, you know, I've got to be honest, there is no manager that I think comes into this club and changes it. I think, personally, I'm past that. You know, when we got Moyes, I was like, oh God, what have we done? He needs to go as soon as possible. And he went very quick. He was gone in 8 months. I celebrated how quick the club sacked Moyes. I think they realised the mistake quickly and they changed it quickly. And I think they were right to change it quickly. And then we got Van Gaal and I thought, this is exciting. Let's see what happens. Waste of time. Then we got Mourinho and I thought, ooh, this is exciting. Let's see what happens. Waste of time. And then we got Ollie and I went, oh, this is exciting. Let's see what happens. Waste of time. I think we've already made the mistakes. I think the opportunity to get us back was wasted with the 3 previous managers. I think with Van Gaal it was easier because it was very close to Sir Alex. With Mourinho there was a chance, and with Ollie there was a chance. But I think for the next manager, 10 years of failure, you can almost say, 10 years of failure, it will take 10 years to put it right. I certainly think it will take 5 years to put it right. I think football is very, very simple to read, and I don't think you can... You know, going back to the question that somebody said, what would it take for us to win the league next year? How can you turn around 9 years of problems in less than 9 months? Like, it just won't happen. The club is keeping us in limbo for 6 months. Why should we believe the spin fed by the club? Not believing anything until I see it in the flesh as RL. Please, no more ex-players, bankers or even former child mascots, says Stephen. Would you rather take Ten Hag and reset with the Champions League, or keep Ralph and Ronaldo with the Champions League and plan a future with him, says Just Connor. So without the Champions League, Ten Hag, or keep Ralph and Ronaldo with the Champions League? Just Connor, I mean, I think it's important that we keep Ronaldo, so obviously I'm going to take the Champions League. It took the greatest manager ever to overcome Glazer incompetence. How many of those are around? I think that's a great point by Sean. I really don't think... I hope I'm wrong. You know, I have been wrong on things. You know, there's a few quote out tweets that go out from me over the few years where I've been wrong on a few things. I hope I'm wrong on this, but I just don't. I don't at the moment. You know, I think if we all had, if we had a genie in a bottle and we said you've got 3 wishes, what would your 3 wishes be? My first wish would be new ownership at the club. My second wish would be that the new owners were like Man City's owners or Chelsea's owners or Newcastle owners. Not necessarily in relation to who those people are, but people who want to make Manchester United the best football club in the world. It amazes me that people still say to me, the Glazers want to make Manchester United the best club in the world. They don't. It comes with a and. I'm sure they do want us to win the Premier League, but they also want to make a shitload of money out of us. I don't think, you know, it's the most simplistic explanation of what Manchester United's problem is. And if you ever were able to get in a room with the Glazers and interview them, or Ed Woodward, or Richard Arnold, I would say this: what is your number one target and aim with Manchester United Football Club? Is it to turn profit for the Glazers, or is it to win the Premier League? And if they lied to me and said our aim is to win the Premier League, I would say Why are you the only club in the Premier League that takes dividends out of it every year then? Those dividends could be going wages, infrastructure, scouting, players. If your number one target is to win the Premier League, why are you taking money out of this club for your owners? Because that is a liar sat in front of me. You are not focused on winning the Premier League. You would like to win the Premier League, but you also want to turn a profit for your owners. And the facts are out there. Now, no other club is doing that. You can criticise those owners. You can say Newcastle's owners from Saudi Arabia, that, you know, there's moral questions there. You can say that Manchester City's owners, there's moral questions there because it's all coming from oil. You can talk about Abramovich at Chelsea, especially with his background and what's going on at the moment. But you cannot question that they want their football clubs to win the Premier League. You do not want to win the Premier League as much as they do, because the evidence is there. And that is a liar in front of me if it says it's not. And simply, that is why we are failing. We have got ownership that wants to win trophies, but also wants to make massive amounts of money for the owners. And no other club is doing that, because no other club is taking dividends out of the club like we do in the Premier League. Opinions on Ronaldo's comments: still believe he's the best striker. Compare it with other strikers, Cavani and Luka, says Iron. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is a fantastic striker. I think he is. But you know what? You know what though? I think sometimes we don't discuss what's glaringly obvious. You know, I think even I'm guilty of it, and I'm sure you're guilty of it as well. We don't discuss what's glaringly obvious, and I remember a teacher of mine saying this at school. The most dangerous thing is the thing that you know is the problem and is sat right next to you, but you ignore it and look at other things that are further away. The problem at Manchester United is staring us straight in the face. It's not even in disguise. The Glazers want to make money out of Man United. That's their number one goal, and that is why we're failing. Rival fans will stick their big nose in and go, wow, you've spent £1 billion. I don't care if we spent £2 billion. We've spent it very, very badly. But for every pound we've spent, there'll be at least £1 coming out, going into their pockets. Because, you know, at the end of the day, if you're focused on winning things... I mean, when did football become this anyway? When did football become about making money? Like, all my life, Manchester United were never obviously about making money. It was about... Manchester United was about being a football club, because that's what we are. You know, I genuinely wish Manchester United was a non-profit organisation, where the money that it makes just goes back into football. You know, whether it's running daily costs, wages, etc. But we're not. We're a business, and we're the only big business in the Premier League. I can't think of a club in the Premier League that's run like we are. We are a business football club. That's what we are, and it's why we're. You know, you're at a massive disadvantage. You're at a massive handicap. You imagine it, right? 20 clubs in the Premier League. Or forget the 20 clubs. There's 6 clubs in the Premier League that are big: Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, maybe Spurs. There's 6 traditionally big clubs in the Premier League. 2 of them are being run like businesses. 4 of them are being run to win trophies. Man United and Arsenal are, well, Spurs as well. You know, the 3, Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City are set up to win trophies. Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United and Spurs are looking to, you know, be run as businesses. And look, surprise, surprise, they're nowhere near a bloody playing Premier League. Throw back to the Super League announcement, as that's the best I felt about real change. Now I think we're further than ever from real change, says Clay. We have just lost 40 million from Aeroflot. What a great excuse for the Glazers not to spend this summer, says Gaza. And Ralph is the best option as a manager for the options we are exploring. Best to decide on options that we know, says Ram. But you know what? There's a cracking point there. I mean, I want to talk about Cavani. I want to talk about Kante. I want to talk about your questions. But you've sort of pulled me into this. You talk about this Russian airline, and I can just say as well, I'm not being political here. I love film. I love Die Hard. I love loads of films. And the story I heard today of the 13 Ukraine soldiers on Snake Island who have a Russian warship telling them to surrender, and they say, go fuck yourselves, and they basically get hit with a missile and killed. You know what? Defending their country. They're heroes in my mind. And I know we're only just a small, insignificant fan channel, but you know what? If 8,000 people get to know that story and go and search it up today, those 13 people become even more heroes, you know. So I just wanted to give him a big shout out for that, because it touched me just like it's touching me seeing, you know, fathers having to stay in Ukraine and be separated from their kids and wives as they go to safety, knowing they'll probably never see them again, defending their country. I just think, why is this happening? And I know there's suffering and pain all around the world, but that doesn't mean that you have to turn a blind eye to it. So I just want to say, look, you know, forget the politics of the situation. There's people fighting and, you know, losing people because of where they live and the livelihood they want to have and their rights. Do you think we need to buy another right winger, seeming Sancho now plays off the left? If so, what sort of player should we be looking at, says Keelan. Probably do, Keelan. I think we're like 5 or 6 players away. If you're a betting man, who would you say we're starting next season with as manager, says Joshua Bowwater. I'm not massively confident, Joshua, but I still think it will be Pochettino if I had to bet. But I'm not massively concerned. I'm not massively confident. But let me just go back to what we were talking about, because it took me into the Ukraine thing, and I wasn't intending to go there, because I think we're all concerned about that, and we're a football channel, and it's escapism for people as well. So I want to keep it on the football. But what I was going to say is that the Aero Fleet, or whatever it's called, this is Manchester United for you, right? Okay, Manchester United, £40 million a year or whatever it is from a Russian airline that they quite rightly have said, we don't want anything to do with that anymore. And then somebody says, yeah, but that £40 million will have been accounted for. That might mean we're not going to get a decent striker in the summer, and it might do. But this is the problem with Manchester United. Do Chelsea have an airline sponsor that gives them £40 million a year? I don't know. Do Man City have one? Do Liverpool have one? Did Leicester have one? Definitely not. Did Leicester win a Premier League title more recently than we did? This is the problem with United. Why have we got a £40 million a year, or whatever amount pound a year, airline sponsor, toothpaste sponsor? Do you know why we've got it? Because all that money that comes in is being accounted for in the Glazers' wealth. If we were just a football club, would we need the Russian airline? You know, would we need the toothpaste supplier? And my point is that all this money comes in. Is it being spent well on the team? No, it's not. So what benefit is it to us if we have a training ground sponsor, an airline sponsor? All that is prostituting the name Manchester United for the Glazers to make money. That's basically what it is. They're using you, Manchester United, and all the history of Sir Alex, because they can't sell. They're not selling Manchester United off this team. Maybe Ronaldo, maybe a couple of players, but they're not. It's not this team's success that is getting us these sponsors. It's your success, Sir Alex Ferguson's success, Sir Bobby Charlton's success, Roy Keane, Ryan Giggs. It's Manchester United's fan base that's been built over the last 50 years and the success that we've had that is bringing in the Glazers sponsors today so that they can make money. They're basically making money off our past because it ain't our success. Our fan base is probably at its peak. I guarantee you our worldwide fan base is actually dropping on the graph. It's peaked. And that's where they're making their money from. And you're probably right. That airline, we need a new airline sponsor quickly, because if we've lost money, they'll be like, shit, we've lost a bit of money. We can't spend as much as we did. But if we weren't so focused on all these bloody brands in the first place and we were just run like a football club, what I'm trying to say is, do we need these airline sponsors anyway? No, we don't. Because if we're run like a football club without dividends and debt and everything like that, we wouldn't need to go around the world saying we need a sponsor for this, a sponsor for that, sponsor for that. Are Liverpool going around the world doing that? I don't think they're doing it to the extent that we are. And if they are doing it, they'll be pumping it into their club. All these sponsors that we get, a large percentage of that is actually going towards the Glazers and the value of this football club. Mark, United really struggled against Atletico because McTominay was missing. We needed that aggressive presence in midfield to unsettle the opposition, says Grime. Well, it's a good... Thanks for the super chat, mate. I personally don't think Scott McTominay would have made us beat Atletico Madrid. And I think if you think that, then, yeah, he ain't Kimmich. He ain't Fabinho. He ain't Rodri. That's all I'm going to say. Mark, what are your thoughts on Bruno this season? His stats are very good, but to me he's been quite bad overall. You know what, Aidan? I think that's a great question. I do. I love Bruno Fernandes. I don't think he had a good second half of last season, and I don't think he's particularly good this season. But Bruno Fernandes would say, well, I don't give a shit what you've got to say. Look at my stats. And I'd almost say, yeah, you're right. You know, he's top of the league for key passes. He's got loads of assists. He's got loads of goals. In that situation when somebody's actually... I mean, imagine if Harry Maguire had the season he's had, but we've had loads of clean sheets and he's scored 6 goals from a header. We'd still be sat here saying he's playing crap, but we've got loads of clean sheets and he's scored loads of headers. I feel that's a bit like Bruno. I think Bruno's contributed quite clearly. He creates more chances than anybody in the league. He's got assists, he's got goals, but I do agree that he's not playing to his best. I think that's the way to phrase it. So I suppose the way to spin that is that imagine what he'd be like if he was playing well in a team that was playing well. So I would actually spin it the other way and say, you know what, I agree with you. I don't think Bruno's having a very good season, but look at what he's contributing when he's not having a good season. I don't think you can say, oh, he's having a crap season, I don't care about his goals, his chances created and his assists. That would be silly. I would say, look at what he's doing when he's not having a particularly good season, because I don't think he's anywhere near his best. I agree. I think it was the Brighton game. I said I don't think he played particularly well, but you know, statistically he probably did. So, you know, reminds me, just before the next question comes in, let's get into the Q&A section of the Friday night show, because that's what it's all about. I have to bring this up because I've taken so much stick over the years, and I don't mind taking stick. I mean, it's impossible to be right. And I agree with Marvin. Bruno lacks discipline and positional awareness. I think that is Bruno's biggest problem, which is why I'd probably play him off the right. But even a crap Bruno is good, says Kevin. Exactly, that's the thing. I said this. I'm doing a lot of pointing tonight. It's rude. I did say this when we bought Bruno. I knew a lot about Bruno from Sporting Lisbon. I think I annoyed people. I don't know how long you've been watching the show. Some of you will have been watching it for years. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and get involved. We have been going for years. We've not had a title in that time yet, but hopefully that will happen one day. But you know what? By the time we win a title, I'll probably have no teeth, no hair, and I'll be like, hello and welcome to the United Stand. I can only do 5 minutes, but this is our year. We're going to win the title this year. I'm telling you. I remember when we had... I remember when Rashford retired at 40, and I thought we were going to do it, and here we are 30 years later. But this is the year. But I think that, you know, you don't always get things right. Thoughts on Sporting's manager, says Elijah. Definitely unlikely, but he could be Arne Gelsman. I mean, why not go with the Sporting manager? Ten Hag is the glamorous version of Sporting's manager. You know, why not go with Sporting's manager? I don't think you can go, I don't want him, he's unknown, let's go with Ten Hag. Ten Hag is still in a league that's not particularly well known. I wouldn't mind trying him out, but look, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But I do remember saying this when on the transfer deadline day I was in a very bad mood, and I was like, I'd rather get Josh King than Edison Cavani. And I got pelters for it for a very long time. And even though it was very obvious that when I said it, I was in a bad mood because I felt we'd had a bad transfer window. In 93 games that Edison Cavani could have been available for, he's been unavailable for 39. So Edison Cavani is not too far off being 50% unavailable in his time at Manchester United. I mean, not quite yet, and I don't think he will hit that, but he's only got 7 more games to 100 games that he could have played in, and he's at 39 now. So he's probably going to be, to be fair, it's going to be about 40% of our games that Cavani's been unavailable for since he signed. 40%. 40%. That's a hell of a lot of games to not be available for, isn't it? And that was always my concern when we bought him. It's, I'm not a big fan of, it's like Ousmane Dembele. People would say, get Ousmane Dembele in. And I would say, are you stupid? Oh, he's brilliant. He's a brilliant player. Well, I don't care. What's the point in having Ousmane Dembele when you go into Anfield and he's not available? What's the point in going to, the whole point, I've always said this, I'd rather have an 8 out of 10 player who's available for 90% of the season than a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 player who's only available for 40. It's a 50 game season on average for most teams, sometimes 60. What's the point in having a great player who's only available for 20 games? Like, you've got to get him out. And I think I'm in the minority with that. I do. I think if I said to you, okay, do you want Ousmane Dembele or do you want Ismail Sarr? And people would say, well, I want Ousmane Dembele, but Ismail Sarr is probably available for 90% of the season, and Ousmane Dembele is probably available for 50. Well, for 60% of the season, you're going to be playing Jesse Lingard on the wing. At least for 90% of the season, you'd have Sarr. And that's what I mean. You've got to get players on the pitch. If Varane has a problem, we should never have bought him. And I'm not saying he has, but if Varane has a problem where he can't play 2 or 3 games a week, we should not have bought him. We'd have been better off going for Badiashile or Koundé or someone like that. They won't be as good as Varane, but they'll be available more. And you've got to get players on the pitch. What's Man United's biggest problem? Inconsistency. You're going to be very inconsistent when you can't rely on a striker that you're paying 200 grand a week for, i.e. Edison Cavani. I mean, imagine that. You look at it the month ahead. March is a pivotal month. Oh, we've got Spurs. We've got the second leg against Atletico Madrid. We've got Man City. We've got Liverpool. Oh, will Cavani be available? God knows. No. Yes. Which way's the wind blowing? We don't know. Or you just don't. You can't plan on inconsistency. And unfortunately, Cavani, to me, is getting to a point where he's this season especially is a massive waste of money. We should have let him go in January. Now, hopefully I'll get proved wrong because he'll come back and he'll score big goals. And I love Cavani when he's, when we score a goal, when he scores a goal, he's pumped up and he's up for it. He's a model professional when he's on the pitch. But you can't get him on the bloody pitch. We can't get him on the pitch. The reason people love Cavani is because when he's on the pitch, he's so passionate, he's so focused. But he's just not on the pitch enough, is he? Not on the pitch. Mark, we should get Charles, I don't know what that name, from Club Bruges, striker for next season. He can play on the wing, Cam as well. I think he's the next big thing, says Malaviar. Thank you. We'll take your word for it. Get your questions in. Have you heard the Super League news, says Outlaw. I have. Look, you know what? We've had COVID. We've got the Ukraine thing. We have the Super League in football last year. Nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me. Like, there's nothing you can throw at me that will make me go, that's not going to happen. The return of the Super League. Right, okay. Do I think we'll see the return of the Super League? Yes. In some shape or form, yes, I do. Do I think it will be as severe as the one they tried to do last year, where it was end the European Cup, end the Premier League, put 8 teams that are in the same league all the time, who basically will always be in it, and it becomes a franchise like American football? I don't think we'll see that. We might see it in 30 years, because remember, this is where these thick people got it wrong. This is where these thick, arrogant people who think fans are just shit on their shoe got it wrong. This is where the Glazers got it wrong, Ed Woodward got it wrong, Perez, everybody else got it wrong. They thought they can do whatever they please. They didn't appreciate that football fans would come together and shut it down. What they should have done is go, these football fans ain't stupid. What we want, we can't get. What we should do is do it in a drip, drip, drip effect. Let's start a European Super League that invites everybody in. We'll all be in it anyway because we'll make the most money. Everybody's welcome into the Super League. Everybody can qualify for the Super League. But for the first one, it will be the big clubs that were always going to be in it. We'll get all the money at the start. They'll never be able to get in because we'll just become super rich. Everybody's welcome. It's a competitive league that's not going to stop the Champions League or the Premier League. Champions League's fucked when this starts because everyone will be watching this. Give it 3 years, it'll end anyway. Continues for 10 years. It's the same clubs in it anyway. It basically is a franchise. We've done what we wanted to do. And that's what they should have done. But they were so arrogant that they tried to run before they could walk. And I think what they will try to do this time is they'll do exactly what I've said there. It's for everybody. But we'll start it off and make all the money. So I do think we'll see a Super League. I do. Because I think they're determined to do it. I just think they went back to the drawing board. Remember, we got hit by the Super League in April like a bloody sledgehammer. It was like, what's this? They've been working on that secretly for months, maybe even years. There's no way these people have just let it go. So I do think we'll see it at some point, and I do think we'll see it in its entirety at some point. But you know what? That's not Man United's problem. That's every other fan club's problem as well. And you know, we've got representatives who sit on the board as fans, and they think they've got a voice. They won't fucking have a clue what United are up to, really. They'll feed them on crumbs, and they'll make them think like they're important because they'll go hot pies, price of beer, this, that, and the other. But they won't have a bloody clue what United are doing, and they'll just be like patting them like a little pet, and it will still happen. I think. I still think it will happen. The only way to prevent it happening is to change the way football clubs are run, which is what United need to do, but it won't happen. Mark, where do you get all your player stats from? What app or websites, says Clay? There's a wide collection of websites that I use, so I don't really want to endorse any, but there's loads out there. Just type it into Google, mate. Mark, we should get... I've done that one as well. Right. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about... I did want to just talk about Kante as well. Let me just take myself off the screen a minute. Oh, look, it's the 1 million subscribers YouTube plaque. I'm only doing it because I just wanted to have a drink off screen. Responsible bridge. Kante, the only reason I wanted to mention Kante is because obviously I'm very aware of what gets said on social media. We're a fan channel. We also discuss the news. There was a couple of stories this afternoon about Kante coming to Manchester United in the summer. I just put it down on a note to bring it into the show. We will not get Kante, is what I wanted to say. Manchester United do not want a Kante. They do not want a manager. I mean, look what he's done this week. He's basically come out and said, I can't do this job and I think Spurs should sack me. And I think it was a great thing to do because basically he's right. That Spurs job is impossible. But what's happened? He's come out today and said, look, I'm a perfectionist. I've spoken to Spurs. They're really happy with the job I'm doing. They know it's going to take ages, but I'm a perfectionist and I want to do it now. And they're all happy again. Manchester United do not want someone like that. They do not want two things. They do not want a manager that will give them a bad reputation in front of prospective brands. And two, they do not want a manager that will expose how bad they are at the job. This is Manchester United's most important thing. Whether it's spin, whatever, everybody's got to have a smile on their face and everyone's got to be doing a great job and everybody's got to be great at what they're doing. And that's how United's been run for 10 years. You know, look at the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. For 3 years, we were told everything's great. We believe it's great. We're heading in the right direction. As soon as he's gone, the truth comes out. Crap training, no infrastructure, no idea what's going on. Really basic football club for 3 years. But for 3 years, we were told everything was great. Everything is superb. And that's how United run. They do not want a Kante, and they never will go for a Kante. Ian says, when we signed Ronaldo and fans thought Cavani should keep 7, I said we should terminate his contract and got stuck up for it. He's barely played 10 games. Well done, Ian. You saw the future. Well done. Mark, I feel bad, but I don't get excited about United anymore. Good players leaving in the summer and Poch coming in doesn't strike me with trophies, says Connor T. Connor, you know what? One of the big reasons I don't want Pochettino, and you've just sort of stuck it on me a little bit there. I've seen Pochettino at Southampton and I've seen Pochettino at Spurs, and he's exactly what he would be at United. A good manager without the resources to do well. He'd just be perfect for 4th place every year. He's perfect for the Glazers. You know what? He's a good enough coach that he would not finish outside the top 4 with Manchester United's resources, but he's also not good enough with United's resources to make us win the league. He'd be perfect for the Glazers. They'd love it. It'd be 4th and 3rd every year, and that's all they want. They just want a Wenger in the last 10 years. They don't want a Wenger in the first 10 years at Arsenal where he actually won things. Do you think Ten Hag's style of play will work with our current crop of players? If not, how many players can play his style, says Ivan. And won't lie to you, mate, I'm worried for what's going on within the world. I know it's off topic, but I needed to say it, says Charlie. Well, you know, I'm sure you're not the only one, Charlie, and we've just got to wait and see. I don't think it will. I don't think for the wider world it's going to have the impact some people are scared of, but what do I know? But ultimately, I think our thoughts and prayers should be the people of Ukraine. And, you know, their country's been invaded and it's bang out of order. And people are going to suffer and die because of it. And that's where my thoughts are. I'm not thinking about myself and my country at the moment because I don't think that actually will materialise. I'm just very frustrated, angry, and disappointed by what's actually happened. Would you rather have owners who win trophies but you have to sacrifice the history of United, or keep the Glazers and never win trophies again? Well, I don't have to do that, Angel. That's a hypothetical that doesn't make any sense. Would I rather win trophies and sacrifice our history, or keep the Glazers and never win trophies? But we've already got our history. I'm never giving our history up. Are you? I'm never giving up the Busby Babes. I'm never giving up Best and Charlton and Law. I'm never giving up 99 or 08 or Brian Robson. I'm never giving that up. That's who we are. I think the Glazers have given that up in what they've done over the last 10 years. Without our history, we're nothing. But we have to have a future. Otherwise, we'll only ever be our history. You know, I'm not... I was having this conversation with somebody at Christmas. We were having a pint on Christmas Eve and we were talking about United. And I said, give me good memories in the last 10 years. I said, now give me good memories of Sir Alex Ferguson's last 10 years. We couldn't shut up about them. And considering Sir Alex Ferguson's last 10 years was 2003 to 2013, so you can't put the 3 titles around 99, the treble, anything like that. The last 10 years, I can't think of many good matches that I go, ooh, I was proud of that. I can't think of many great goals. I can't think of many great moments. That's appalling for a club like Manchester United. And we are living in the past. And we need to live in the future. I'm desperate to live in the future. I love the past. You know, sometimes you're not feeling great. It's a Friday afternoon. You've got a bit of a headache. You whack on an old United DVD and you watch it and you go, that was great. But it never means anything to me other than that was great. I can't live in the past. I love it, but I can't go, well, we were good 10 years ago. We've got to have a future. And I think from the moment we actually start to build a future, then it's going to take 3 years. But at the moment, we're not building it anyway. Rooney's bicycle kick was under Sir Alex Ferguson, mate. I'm talking post Sir Alex. Wanfield, yeah, that was a good one. Glazer's too thick to see that success on the pitch built the brand. They want to cheat and build the brand minus the success, says Sean Finity. I genuinely believe, and it's only my opinion, I feel that the perfect analogy for what the Glazers are doing is this. They've got an oil field. They've got a pump. They're making shitloads of money out of that oil. And they ain't investing in other oil fields or gas or renewable energy or anything like that. They're just pumping that oil out. They're making a load of money. And when it runs out, or they know it's going to run out, it's nearly run out, they'll sell it for the top price they can do based on how much oil is left. And that's it. We're fucked. I think that's what they're doing. In my opinion, this club makes so much money. We could invest in loads of things to make us sustainable for the next 100 years. And I actually think the Glazers, and it terrifies me, they are just pumping out that oil. And then when they see it's running out, they'll con somebody to buy the club, but it'll be in such a mess, and they'll walk off into the distance, and we'll be fucked. And I think that's what they're doing. I genuinely think that that's what they're doing. I don't think they are looking at the long-term plan of investing in this club. I just think it's bleed this cash cow for as much as they can and get out just before it's not worth anything. I might be wrong, but I'd certainly say it's a justifiable fear, and that's what I think they're doing. I think they'll go when they realise this is fucked. As long as it's making money, they won't go. If we won the treble, they'd stay forever because they'd be like, oh, we're winning things, but we're never going to win things under them. So it's just going to get worse and worse to a point where they go, it's time to sell. And God, imagine how bad it would have to be for them to sell. I mean, we've not won a title for 9 years and they're still making money. Imagine how bad it's going to have to get for them to go, oh, it might be time to get out. Yeah. It's, they're just not football people as well. I don't trust them. Fair play for being multimillionaires, by the way. We're not all multimillionaires. You know, they are richer than most of us will ever be. So fair play for your business acumen. Most of it's probably invented inherited from your dad, to be fair, but there you go. But, you know, well done for being really rich. That's great. But on your football knowledge, I'd say most Man United fans are richer than them on football knowledge, and that's the scary thing. Not seeing any progress from Eric Ramsey's coaching. Well, we scored a corner last week, Mario. And I don't think Haaland will sign for United, partly because of the incident with his dad and Keane. Plus, right now, he's got to be hungry for trophies, says Alex. I don't think the Roy Keane thing makes a blind bit of difference on Erling Haaland coming to Manchester United. I think that would be the most... You know, money talks at the end of the day. Do you think if Man United were the only club that wanted Erling Haaland from Dortmund and he's on 100 grand a week at Dortmund and United say we'll pay you 400 grand a week and we'll give you a £20 million signing on fee, or you can stay at Dortmund with no signing on fee and 100 grand a week? Do you think he's going to go, no, Roy Keane, who you don't even like as a football club, injured my dad a few years ago, so I'll never play for you again? Money's going to talk. The Roy Keane thing is ridiculous. He's not going to not come to United. Man United don't even really acknowledge Roy Keane. I think it's a disgrace. Manchester United had an anniversary game for the 99 side and Roy Keane didn't even play in it. Like, there is an issue between Sir Alex Ferguson and Roy Keane, and United will always back Sir Alex. So why would Erling Haaland not play for United because of Roy Keane? He would. 100% he'd play for United. The reason he won't come to United is the second point. He can earn just about the same amount as money at Real Madrid and have a much better chance of winning trophies. So he wouldn't. And also, another point, if you were a striker, would you go to Real Madrid where you can win trophies, compete for the Champions League potentially, but also easily score 40 goals a season? Or would you come to Manchester United where you won't win the league, you won't compete for the Champions League, and also you'll be stood up front like a complete and utter prat, not getting any service? Of course he's not going to come to United, because a striker wants to score goals. And no striker at United has scored goals consistently for 2 years, because we don't create chances for our striker. So it would be a huge issue for him to do that. And I don't think he'll do it. I do think we'll get linked to Haaland. I've said that all the time. I do think our club will be used around Haaland. To what extent, I don't know. But look, I remember De Ligt. There was people telling us De Ligt's definitely signing for United, and United never put a story out to say no. He ended up going to Juventus, and then, was it a year later, he said, United were never in for me. That's the funny thing. So we'll definitely be used around Haaland, and we'll probably end up doing videos around Haaland to United's going to happen because this outlet says it's going to happen. But we won't get Haaland, and we probably shouldn't get Haaland either, to be fair. At least the Glazers lost 40 million from the Russian thing. Do you think our top four qualification hinges on getting better results than Arsenal against the big teams in the upcoming games, says Joshua? How many points have we got at the moment? I keep thinking this. So, we've got 46 points, haven't we, I think? Yeah, we've got 46 points. We need 21 points. We need 21 points from 36. Because we've got 12 games left. 12 times 3 is 36. I think 67 points will probably get us it. 24 to be safe. So we need 24 points, 21 or 24 points from the next 36, which means we can drop 12 or 15. Off the top of my head, We will lose to Liverpool and City. That's 6. I think we'll draw at Arsenal. That's 8. Chelsea at home. I'd say we'll probably draw that. That's 10. It's in our, it's all going to depend about what we do. I think if we can do what Spurs did, if we can go to an Anfield or an Etihad and get a good result, it would be big. It's not in our hands though. We're 1 point ahead of Arsenal and they've got 2 games in hand and they've got us at the Emirates. And whatever you say, we can go to the Emirates and win. But as you know, United's away record, since there's been fans in the ground, I know we had this great record under Ollie away from home, but there was no fucker there. You may as well have been playing on your local park. We're now playing in front of hostile crowds. We've been smacked up by Leicester. We've been smacked up by Watford. People are saying we'll go to the Emirates and win. We can go to the Emirates and win, but it's a 60,000 capacity stadium that's going to be mainly hostile in a game they know is massive. In a game that they never thought they'd be playing. That is basically Arsenal's cup final at the Emirates in April against Manchester United. They know if they win that game, they're probably going to get top 4. Do you think they're going to make that easy for us? And do you think we're going to go all out? That game is massive. Unless we go and accumulate points like we haven't done away at Anfield, away at the Emirates. Goodison Park as well. We're going to have to win there as well. So we can get top 4, but we're going to have to go and win games that are going to be very, very difficult. But as I said, I'm not excited about this top 4 race. I'm scared about it because it will be massively embarrassing if we don't get top 4. For Arsenal, it's exciting because they didn't expect it. But for us, it's embarrassing if we don't get it. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, it's match day tomorrow. We almost forget what a quick turnaround it's been from Wednesday night to Saturday afternoon. So we've got the road trip in the morning with Adam. Watch out for that. And then I'll be live at 2 o'clock with the team news. I'm expecting a win tomorrow. I'm expecting a Saturday night of, Instagram pictures and positivity. We absolutely have to win tomorrow. Absolutely have to win. If you can't beat Watford at home, who are going to get relegated, there's a massive problem. There's 3 games we've got at home between now and the end of the season where it's got to be a guaranteed 9 points. Watford, Norwich, Brentford. Those 3, I don't even want to think about it. They're just, you can beat them 1-0, you can beat them 6-0. I wouldn't even, what? We're back again. Like, these are just nailed on. You've got to win. You have to win. We've got to win tomorrow. Let's enjoy it. Thanks everyone for watching. I've really enjoyed the show tonight. I love the Friday night show because it's just, wide-ranging, big topics. And I know it's a very different show to the other ones. Absolutely loved it. Big shout out to the moderators as well. They've done a great job. Massive shout out to you. Can I just say, please check out Spitch. It's free. You'll see a certain big manager that's backing it, which shows you what sort of a game it is. Links in the video description. It's free to play. You can play in any leagues you want. You can jump into it whenever you want. It's not based on the whole season. £70,000, up to £70,000 available to be won. Links in the video description. You've got to be over 18, obviously, because it's it's money that can be won. But it's I'm really excited about it. I've downloaded it myself today. I'm getting ready for it. So Spitch is a new partner of ours for this. Give it a download, give it a play, see what you think this weekend, and get your thinking caps on to win points and take on your friends and everyone else. Get them invited. Send them the link. You can be setting them up tonight for tomorrow morning. Links in the video description. Check it out and see which big manager it is. I personally think he's the best manager in the league, and I hate to say it. But thanks everyone for watching. Links in the video description for that. And I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you very much.